Assalamu alaikum. In today's video I'm making a mac and cheese kind of dish without using an oven. No oven, just going to use the stove top, and I'm going to flavor it with this cream of mushroom soup. You can use a can, it's easier, but I've got this powdered form. So let's get started. Okay, so I put the cream of mushroom powder in here. We're going to turn it into a soup by adding boiling water. Don't worry, I'm going to cook this a bit later. This is boiling water, about 500 milliliters. Don't worry, I'm just going to mix this now. I am going to cook this later on the stove, and I will be adding a bit more water. Don't worry, this will cook on the stove. And I am going to whisk this to make sure it's smooth, but first I'm just going to use a spoon. Okay, I've got here boiling water with some salt. I'm going to put my macaroni in here. Okay, so make sure I put the 500 grams of macaroni in here. Make sure you cook your macaroni for however long it says on the packet. This one will need 12 minutes. Make sure the macaroni is soft, because if you make the macaroni al dente or a bit harder, it will then absorb all of the liquid, all of the sauce, and it will be dry. So if you don't want your macaroni and cheese to be dry and have a bit of liquid, you have to make sure the pasta is properly cooked. Okay, going back to our soup. Don't worry, I'm going to put this on the stove a bit later with my roux, and I'm going to smooth out everything in there. It's easier just to use canned soup, but I just have this powder right now, so you can just use 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Yes, cooking pasta and soup together, it really does taste delicious. Usually I've cooked pasta with tomato soup, Heinz tomato soup, or cream of mushroom, and it comes out really delicious. It's just a quick meal, quick easy meal. You might have noticed I don't cook pasta in a lot of water. That is because right now I'm in the Middle East and I use mineral water to cook everything. So I try not to use too much water because it's all mineral water. Yes, people here don't use tap water for anything apart from washing clothes on your body. But everything else, well, I use mineral water. I think there's other bottled water you can use for cooking, but it's not much difference in price, so I just use the mineral water. So that's why I make sure I don't waste too much water when I'm cooking pasta. Okay, it's been 12 minutes and my pasta is soft, so I'm just going to drain it quickly. There's not much water to drain anyway. I'm just going to drain it. I'm not going to wash it with cold water. I'm just going to drain it and leave it to the side until I need it. Okay, now we're going to make a quick white sauce. Using the same pan, I've got 2 tablespoons of butter, and to make a roux you need to add exactly the same amount as butter as the white flour. So I'm going to put in here 2 tablespoons of white flour. Okay, this is on medium heat, and I've just added in 2 tablespoons of flour. You basically just mix it together for a minute and your roux will be ready. You let the roux dissolve in the butter like this. Next, I'm going to add in some milk. Okay, yes, don't let the flour cook too long, just a minute, like this. And then we're going to add some milk. I'm going to be adding some evaporated milk. I'll tell you exactly how much evaporated milk I will add. Okay, so I've added 500 milliliters or half a liter of the evaporated milk. You can use normal milk, but I like the taste of evaporated milk with the pasta. I'm going to be adding some mozzarella cheese. You can add in cheddar cheese as well. I'm going to be adding some mozzarella. Okay, next to go in is the cream of mushroom soup. Now, this soup is a bit salty, so I'm going to watch whatever salt I add. I might not even add any salt, because the soup I have is particularly salty. I tasted it a little bit. So I just put in the cream of mushroom soup. At this point, it might be a good idea just to, after you let it mix in for a minute or two, we'll check the salt. Okay, I'm gonna be adding one chicken stock. I'm not gonna be adding any salt to mine because my chicken stock is salty. If your chicken stock is not salty, you can add in about half a teaspoon of salt or salt to taste. Just taste your sauce. You know, at first I would say add, if your stock is not salty and you taste your sauce and you think it needs a little bit of salt, I would just add half a teaspoon first, taste it, and then add more, although I think half a teaspoon should be enough if your stock is not salty. Okay, my sauce is getting thick now. As you can see, it's getting thicker. Make sure you mix in the stock properly and that is dissolved into the sauce. You don't want your stock just to be floating around in there. And next I'm going to be adding some cheese. I only have mozzarella here. Mozzarella is not too salty. I'm going to put in about 300 grams of mozzarella cheese. You can put in cheddar cheese, but remember that cheddar is a bit saltier. Okay, I've turned the heat down to low, and I've just added in about 300 grams of mozzarella cheese. It's probably better if you shred it, but it's fine anyway. It's going to melt together. But it'll be easier to melt in if it's shredded. But this is melted nicely already. Soon I'm going to be adding in the pasta. Actually, it smells so good. The cream of mushroom soup, it makes the sauce smell so good. And as you can see, the sauce is getting thicker. I'm just going to let the cheese melt, and then I'm going to add in the pasta. Okay, the cheese is more or less all melted. Now I'm going to add in the pasta. Okay, I'm just adding in the pasta now. As you can see, it looks delicious. You can see the stringy cheese. At this stage, you could pour everything into an oven dish. Put it on high in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes with some grated cheese on top if you want proper mac and cheese. But I'm just going to have it this way without the oven. It's still delicious. Look at that cheesy goodness. And it smells so good with the cream of mushroom soup. Soup in pasta, I recommend it. Now I'm going to turn this off. This is ready. I'm going to turn it off. Just mix it in a bit more thoroughly. And it's done. Thank you for watching. Please like my videos and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum. Here's another one I made, but I used different pasta. I used smaller pasta. You can use any kind of pasta you want. And this one I put it in the oven for 10 minutes at 200 degrees centigrade. Put it in there for 10 minutes. And this is how it came out. It looks beautiful. And all I did is just put the pasta in the pan, and I added some shredded mozzarella and cheddar cheese, a mix of those two cheeses. It came out looking like this. Looks nice, I think. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.